alert.
Yeah, that breaking news we're following here at 4:30. The former top aide to the one-time Speaker of the House has been kicked off the August Republican Party ballot.
Yeah, we first told you earlier this month that Cade Cothren announced he was running for the State House of Representatives.
So WSMV investigative reporter Stacey Cameron joins us here in studio. Stacey, Cothren just confirmed this to you. Did he say why he was kicked off the ballot?
Yeah, Cade told me he was kicked off the primary ballot because the state Republican Party doesn't consider him a bona fide Republican because he donated $100 to the campaigns of Democrats Justin Jones and Justin Pearson, and because Cothren's been critical of state Republican leadership. Now, Cade Cothren, the former top aide to one-time Speaker of the House Glen Casada, was one of the most powerful Republicans in state government, but he was forced to resign as chief of staff to the Speaker due to a political scandal and later indicted along with his former boss Casada on federal public corruption charges. But last year, the pair were convicted, but later pardoned by President Donald Trump, and the convictions vacated by the judge overseeing the case. Those moves cleared the way for Cothren to attempt his political comeback, and he sought to unseat GOP incumbent Kip Capley, a first-term Republican from Summertown. But his getting ejected from the primary ballot derails that bid for a House seat, at least temporarily, and that's because Cothren says he's appealing the decision to kick him off the primary ballot. He's also considering legal action to get his name back on it. And lastly, Cothren tells me he hasn't been sent a letter or given official notice of the language for why he's been kicked out of the race. He said he had to call the party chair several times yesterday before finally getting through on another phone line and getting that news. Guys, back to you.
Okay, a lot of new developments. Stacey, thank you.